people were noticing and pointing out that the SEC is going after some insider traders at Coinbase, but they're not going after Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So here she is getting asked about the situation with her husband and how she responds.
Over the course of your career, has your husband ever made a stock purchase or sale based on information he's received?
What are you saying?
Over the course of your career, has your husband ever made a stock purchase or sale based on information he received from you?
No, absolutely not. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. I like how she daintily pulls the mic down. She's like, okay, we're done. Absolutely. Now, to her credit, she did say last question. So I know a lot of people are like, oh, she's walking out of her. It was her last question. So the guy knew when to plant that question.
At least,
but
it was a good, it was a good last question.
And then we have this MSNBC mirroring Fox News. Nancy Pelosi blasted by Twitter users after denying she gave info to husband for stock trade. Lies.
Yeah.
And what's this guy's name? Brian Claypool. He's a criminal defense attorney. Had this to say on Fox.
The optics here are horrible, Jesse, and here's why. Because if there is evidence that Paul Pelosi gained confidential information, that would be that there is a bill in the works, $52 billion to help this semiconductor company, NVIDIA, that he invested in. If he had information about that and it wasn't available to the public, which we don't think it was to the general public, then at minimum, there should be an investigation of potential insider trading. So where's the Congressional Oversight and Reform Committee? Carolyn Maloney's the head of that. Let's contact her and find out whether there's going to be an investigation. How about the DOJ? They going to look into this?
There you go.
Interesting.
Are we gonna bring down Pelosi as part of the great teardown, the great draining of the swamp?
You know, there's the interesting stories of the two FBI chiefs, the FBI chief and I think the deputy FBI chief, who got the most extreme IRS audits.
Right. Wasn't Comey part of it too?
I believe
I thought Comey was getting
I don't want to give the details because I don't have them memorized, but there's two, I believe it was the chief and the deputy chief. And it was right after, basically the idea is Trump did it. Like Trump told the IRS
right.
to these are out, after these FBI guys kind of turned on Trump. And that's the kind of, power that the Democrats are, again, kind of the conspiracy theory is that Trump got the IRS to mess with his political enemies. And that's the problem with the administrative state is, in theory, the IRS does not take orders from the president. But it is suspicious. It's something like 0.2% of the whole country gets this level of audit every year. And it just happened to be the chief and the deputy chief of the FBI after they turned on Trump.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of power that you can wield if you have your guys inside of these institutions. Right. And the Democrats have a lot of their guys in these institutions. And obviously, that's why the GOP wants more of them. So, that's one thing we want to remember is, why am I saying this? I'm saying it because of Pelosi. Pelosi would be terrified if Trump got elected and then put in 50,000 new workers and, took control of the administrative state, because she would be completely in trouble. She'll
see Trump down the hallway and he'll scream,
"We will launch a new age!"
And she'll run away.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's more articles about how the Stock Act needs to be toughened up and stuff based on this. But I will give you some good news before we go into break, Basil.
Okay.
I know it's tough for everyone out there, even for BlackRock.
Oh, no.
Bloomberg. BlackRock is breaking the wrong kind of records. Clients of the world's largest asset manager lost an unprecedented $1.7 trillion in the first half's market carnage.
Oh, my gosh.
Imagine losing more money than all of crypto is worth, Basil.
That's crazy.
And I love, let's see, BlackRock is used to breaking records. The world's largest asset manager, 10 trillion, yada, yada, yada. In the first half of this year, it lost $1.7 trillion of clients' money. BlackRock management was quick to invoke the first half market carnage when revealing the investment performance last week. Quote, 2022 ranks as the worst start in 50 years for both stocks and bonds, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer Larry Fink said on his earnings call. Oh, man. Good old BlackRock.
Yeah. They're a good barometer for how dangerous the world is. If they're losing trillions, then we'll be fine.
It's one thing to boast about, managing $10 trillion of people's money.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it's equally as large in terms of the downside, right? The higher you go, the faster you fall.
Yeah.